A local boy from Kaneohe gets into local community theater, goes to New York, and has an experience of a lifetime. We're here at Center Stage talking to Kevin Yamada, my guest today. We are talking from ThinkTech in Honolulu, and this is Center Stage, and I'm Will Kahele, at bat for Donna Blanchard. We'd like to welcome you to ThinkTech. We are raising public awareness on technology, energy, diversity, and globalism. I'm your host again, Will Kahele from Kumu Kahua Theater, again sitting in for Donna Blanchard. And this show, of course, is Center Stage. And meet my guest, Kevin Yamada. Hey, Kev.
Hey.
Thanks
Aloha,
for
Aloha, everybody.
Sitting in with us and talking stories.
Oh, no, thanks for having me on the show. I love your set here.
Thank you.
It matches my shirt.
I change it every week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have elves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Must cost a lot. Oh, no.
No,
I don't know.
they're elves.
That is
So,
true. They don't
you know,
have a union.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Here we call them menihuni.
I see.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's a good thing to have. But I'm glad I dressed so that everything matches.
It's
so
the elven magic.
It's like
Yeah.
meant to be.
Yes.
And you have a nice desk.
So you can see we've been friends for a long time. I think more than 20 years already.
Yeah.
25 years. And I met Kevin doing theater. Actually, we had auditioned for this one show. And when I went back to work and I told everybody, oh, I got into this show. And they said, oh, that's the same show Kevin got in. And I said, Kevin who? And they said, Kevin, the guy that works with you. Oh, okay. And that's when I met him, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. So, so just a lot of people think that we know each other from theater, but we actually worked with each other at the hospital before. We worked together, and then just did play after play, or musical after musical, and then here we are, talking on a show.
Here we are, talking on a show. So, tell everybody how you got started doing theater.
The reason I started doing theater, and it's actually musical theater, is I loved to sing. And my last semester at UH, University of Hawaii, I just decided, well, you know what, I'm gonna just choose a class that I wanna learn and I enjoy doing. So I took that, and a bunch of the students from that class tried out for a local musical at Manoa Valley Theater, and I got in and loved it and been doing it ever since. So that might be a message for the kids out there that you might not want to wait till your last semester of college to find something that you love doing, because then I eventually got a bachelor's in history, and then I got a secondary ed degree in teaching science, chemistry, and I did that for a little while, and then I just realized my passion was acting and decided, well, I'm going to go for it.
When you said, don't wait until your last semester to do the stuff that you want to do. So did you know that that's what you wanted to do when you did the class?
No, it was purely...
Or kind of like it found you?
Yeah, it kind of found me because I did it purely for fun. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I like to go karaoke and like to sing, and then it was just, maybe I'll learn to sing better, and it just turned out I found a great teacher in BJ Greathouse who taught the course, and she made me love it even more. And I think that's one of the keys for a performer, is not only finding out what you like to do and what you don't like to do, but just to find good teachers. And BJ was a great teacher and an introduction for me in just performing, and that her love for it, and she had this real energy to it that was just contagious, and it just made me.
Was that at the university?
Yeah, that was the University of Hawaii. Yeah.
And then, so did you do any University of Hawaii shows? Or?
No, I did not. I just started doing musical theater like about one a year while I was teaching, and I just decided that I like this and I'll try it out. So that first musical was Grand Hotel at Manoa Valley Theater with you, and so it was lucky in that there was a lot of great performers in that show, as you know, and our musical director and our director, Jennifer DeMello and John Rampage, again, were just great teachers, and I was just lucky in that with them, they had such pride in what they did, and you know that whenever you see one of their shows, it's going to be a good show because
Right.
they put in so much effort and so much time, and it's just they won't let a bad product go on stage. It'll always be a good show.
So for the most part of your career, your community theater career here in Hawaii, you did a lot of musical theater then.
Yeah. So I did a lot of musical theater because that was how I started out. Is I could kind of sing, and so I learned the other two aspects of it a little later, while I was observing others. For musical theater, you have to sing because it's music.
Right.
Sing,
Hum
acting
really well.
Yeah, or else you just have to stay in the background as a tree or something. Just go. But if you can sing, then you have a better chance to get in. And then again, if you add the other two components, if you can act, then even more so you're gonna get a better chance. And if you can dance, then that's what they call the triple threat. Yeah, and
So you were a triple threat.
Oh no.
You were a double threat.
I
I think you were a double threat because you could act and you could sing.
Kinda, yeah. So I was maybe a single threat. If you,
No,
if you add them all together, like
I think you were a triple threat because that time that we did the Will Rogers Follies, you had to dance. You're one of the 4 chorus boys.
I aspired to. I tried to, but yeah.
I think you're very, shy.
No. But one of the highlights that we did a show together called the King and I.
Yes.
And that was. Sometimes you don't realize or appreciate things when you're in it because you just kind of caught up in the moment, and then I look back at it now, and it was just such a great opportunity. We worked with Greg Zane, who was the director choreographer who did it on Broadway.
Right.
It's like how many times do you get to work with a Broadway person that teaches you and then kind of shows you that
from the beginning to the end, everything.
And Paul Naokauchi, who played our king, was played it on Broadway, so that was fun. And I got to act it with my buddy. So
yeah, that was fun. Stephanie Smart was in that. She was our Mrs. Anna, and a whole cast of people.
Yeah.
And now all of them have gone to New York or just gone on to other things.
Yeah, and
some of them are still in theater.
Yeah. And so it just goes to show that Hawaii has such a big and rich talent pool. There's a lot of good actors and singers and dancers, and it's should go check out Hawaii Theater because it's.
And that was back in 1999 that we did that. King and I.
Great.
And then that summer, we went to New York.
Yeah, that's right. Will and I went to New York, and it was the first time this guy ever left the islands. I've never been out of the state. So, at in my late 20s is the first time I ever went to New York, and
we spent 6 weeks up there.
Yeah. It was
and we auditioned.
for stuff.
And you learned the subway system.
Yeah.
Really
it's
fast. I kept looking at the map, like I don't know where we're going. And just follow yours.
Yeah, and then we
I went to the World Trade Center.
Got lost a few times.
But like you said, we always know where we're going.
Yeah.
So we never really get lost.
And then there was a time that we were traveling through Central Park, and this is this is a if you ever go to New York, travel through Central Park, know where you are and pick a landmark. Pick a building that you can always see.
But didn't we do that?
No, not really. Well, because we decided, okay, we had to get from the east to the west, right? So we had to get from the east to the west, or was it west to east? I don't remember. We had to get from one side of the park to the other. So
get from west to east.
Yeah.
No, we're going back. Yeah, we're going from east to west.
Whatever the case, we're trying to get through the park, and then it's not linear. The pathways. It's not like a straight way across. Right. It kind of bends and turns, and it's like a maze.
And we thought we'd follow the path.
Yeah, we followed the path, and then we said, "Oh, all right, we're almost out of the park." And then then you said, oh, look, the Guggenheim right there.
Is
And I was
that
like,
the Guggenheim?
I said, no, it can't be the Guggenheim.
We just left the
Yeah,
Guggenheim.
the Guggenheim is on the other side of the
I
park.
said, no, it's in front of us.
And I realized that is the Guggenheim, and we walked in a complete
Yeah,
circle.
walked in a complete circle, and the sun was going down.
And the sun was going down, and we
And,
didn't know our way. So
We had to just pick a
pick a landmark.
pick a landmark.
Pick a building
and
or
just
something.
go for that apartment building.
Yeah, or else you're gonna get lost and
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah, but we didn't cry.
Lesson learned.
Or, at least I'm not going to admit it. But it was an adventure.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
an adventure.
It was really fun.
The Big Apple, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. So we did that, and we auditioned for a bus and truck tour
Oh, yeah.
of The King and I.
National tour of the King and I.
National tour of The King and I. And we didn't hear anything. And we came back home, and we did a play. What that was that play?
1940s Radio Hour
1940s
at
Radio
Manoa
Hour
Valley
at Manoa Valley
Theater.
Theater. And then you got the call.
Yeah. A few months later, I got the call that they wanted me to be in the ensemble for the King and I tour, and can I come next week?
Yeah.
I was like,
And so we had to, of course you were going to miss that. That's an opportunity of a lifetime. You know?
And I think Manoa Valley Theater, they were so supportive, and everybody said, no, you have to go. We'll find you a replacement. We'll do whatever we can. And, everybody at the theater, Karen and Dwight, and they're just great. And they're very supportive of local actors going on to do mainland stuff. And yeah, they got me a replacement, and off I
And
went.
off you went. Well, we'll find out what happens next. We'll be back after this brief message. We're talking to Kevin Yamada, and this is Center Stage.
Hi, my name's Cindy Matsuki, and I host the show High Growth with HTDC on ThinkTech Hawaii. This is the show where we talk about all things tech, innovation, entrepreneurship, and manufacturing, because there's so many things going on in Hawaii and more people should know about them. So this is the program that you can come and find out about all the things happening in Hawaii. And this show also airs on Olelo 54 along with ThinkTech Hawaii. And it broadcasts live every other Tuesday at 3 p.m. So don't forget, check out the show Tuesday, 3 p.m. every other week. High Growth with HTDC. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Chris Lethem, and I'd like to invite you to come and watch my show every Wednesday at 3. I'm interested in a variety of issues that have to do with politics and our local business economy. And I'd like to bring on guests who like to talk about everything from technology to social media to what we can be doing to improve our environment. And so I'd like to invite you every Wednesday at 3 to stay and watch my show here with ThinkTech Hawaii. And I'll see you there.
The pictures?
Hi, we're back at Center Stage. My name is Kahele, sitting in for Donna Blanchard, and we're talking to Kevin Yamada, local boy actor who's been all the way to New York, done a lot of movies, done a lot of series, and he's back here on the island of Oahu. So Kevin, so when we left the last segment, you had gone up to New York. You got the call to do the bus and truck tour, the national tour of The King and I, right? And so how long were you on that tour?
So it was about a year.
Wow.
About a year, yeah. So we did the tour for about a year. So I went from only visiting out of Hawaii, just one state of New York, to over 40 states, because we went through, the East Coast, and we ended up in Arizona. We spent a month in Canada. We spent a month in Brazil, which was a lot of fun too. And so it was fun. Not only did I get to perform and make a living at what I like to do, but I also got to see a lot of the country and visited 2 countries that I've never been to before.
So the bus and truck tour, was it just bus and trucks, or did you
No,
have
we flew
planes and
too.
trains?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, nice. And did you have to help dismantle the set? And
Oh,
the
no. It was, they had the whole crew, and they had, I forget how many semi-trucks they had of just the set. But
and they'll just follow? I mean, you have to just, wow.
So, and depending on the size of the set, or depending on the size of the theater, they adjusted the set. But what was kind of cool about the set is, I forgot, is it Mylar or whatever the floor up covering was?
Mm-hmm.
It was numbered. So, and all our blocking and all the dance moves and everything was towards the numbers. It was geared towards numbers. So no matter what theater we were in, it felt like home because he had that
Which had the
same
numbers
floor,
on
and we
the-
said, the
right.
same number, so you just follow the numbers.
On the floorboards and that's the way they do it at Diamond Head.
Yeah. So if it's a smaller theater, then we'll adjust, and most of the time it was pretty standard.
And it was so you always use the same cast, the same kids.
Same cast, same kids. There was a kids bus where they had all the kids, and because they had to have a certain amount of hours of schooling, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they had a private tutor?
They had tutors, yeah. One for the lower age kids and one for the older kids.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so for a whole year.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty-
they kept the same kids all the way through
Yep,
the whole
yep,
year.
yep.
They didn't cast them out. Or
Yeah, pretty much
recast,
had the same
them out.
cast, yeah.
How mean. Recast.
Get out, kid. You're done. You're too old.
Okay. So after The King and I, did you have another tour? Or-
Later on, I toured with MAME. That was another national tour. I played Ito, the butler.
Oh yeah, the houseboy.
Yeah. So it's interesting in that when we went to the bigger cities, it's kind of multicultural, but some cities or some of the smaller towns, they know that you're in The King and I because you're the only Asians in town. It's like,
right.
hey, you're The King and I. Yeah, how'd you know? I'm bald and I play a monk. Yes. And so when I toured with MAME, it was even more of a culture shock because not only was I the only Asian in our company, but a lot of times if we went into a town, I'd be like the only
Asian
in there.
hotel.
Yeah. And it was different for me. I wasn't used to it. It was okay, but it was
Yeah,
It's different.
you go somewhere where you come from someplace where you're a majority.
Yeah.
And you go someplace where you're a minority, and it really feels different.
Yeah, and you have to adjust because you tell your castmates who like to sing and sing karaoke. It's like, hey, let's go karaoke, and they're like, what are you talking about?
It's karaoke.
Karaoke. Everybody want to go karaoke? Oh yeah. So that was one thing. One of the things I had to swallow. Okay, I can't say karate. Well, I guess I can, but no one will.
Right.
Or I can't say. I'll say karaoke just so that I'll get the message across. And
Did you ever
slowly by
say that when
slowly.
you were here at home?
No.
Say karaoke?
How? You gotta adjust, or else you're gonna get teased by your friends.
I would never tease you. Okay, so you did theater up there, and then you got the call from PBS. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. So actually, after I did the tour,
Uh-huh.
I came home for a few years, and I did a lot of children's theater. I worked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, primarily with Ohia
Right.
Productions. So I first started out doing on Dragonfly Wings,
Right.
The stage show at Leeward Community College, and that's when I was introduced to great teachers again. Had Rosalind, who did the music, a genius, I think. She's
Right.
a musical genius,
Yeah.
and such a nice person. And also a nice person was Lisa Matsumoto, another genius, in their own categories. And I just loved working with them. Yeah. And then so I went from doing on Dragonfly Wings to doing their road shows. What they did was they went to the preschool and elementary schools on Oahu, and we did it on the neighbor islands too. And we had the message of, it talked about the environment and preserving the environment, and it was really fun.
You were that superhero guy.
Oh yes, I was Raymond Rainforest.
Raymond Rainforest. I think I saw it. Did you ever play at the zoo?
Yes. We had shows with the zoo, and it talked all about invasive species. So species, plants or animals that are taken from another environment and put into another environment it just wrecks it, invasive. So like the rat, the mongoose,
I see.
are just examples of, especially somewhere like Hawaii where it's so isolated, whenever you introduce another species, it wreaks havoc.
Right.
There's no natural safeguards, or there's no natural protection for them to fight off. So you have vines, and the pigs will make dig pits in the mud so that the mosquitoes can thrive, and the birds, the native Hawaiian birds, are not used to fighting.
A chain reaction.
Yes.
Just goes down.
Not used to fighting mongoose and
So
mosquitoes.
you did your your New York thing. Then you came back home,
Yes, yes.
and you did the Ohia.
And did
theater
go here
thing.
for a few years. Learned from Lisa and Roz and their other teachers, Reiko and Natalie, and from the other actors as well. It gave me another perspective on how to perform. To perform for kids. For kids, there's a certain I don't know what you call it, like maybe spunkiness or kind of higher energy where you perform for kids. That it's still acting and but it's more kid friendly and it's a fun
And is
way
it to
perform
keep them engaged?
Yes, to keep them engaged and just how to talk to them because you see it with adults every day. You don't see an adult talking to a baby in the same way that they talk to another adult. You know, they always hello.
It's a little heightened.
Yeah. Eat your broccoli, but So from there, I learned how to teach kids or how to speak to kids, and that really helped me out later.
And then after your stint with Ohia, you went back to New York?
Yes, I did. So I decided, Hawaii's a great place to live. It's a great place to learn. There's commercials, film, TV. But on the other hand, if you want to do it for a living, the reality is it's hard. You can do children's theater if you want to do TV, and if you're lucky enough to get on Hawaii Five-0 a bunch of times, that's great. But in terms of numbers and the reality of it, it's hard to make a living here in Hawaii.
As an actor.
Yeah. And that's just the
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. It's either good or bad, but if you want to do more film and TV, most people go to LA. If you want to do more theater, people tend to move to New York. And that's where I thought my niche was. Because I did so much musical theater and these tours and the children's theater, I want to go to New York. So that's what made me decide to go to New York.
Okay. So you went back to New York thinking that you were going to do theater?
Yes.
And what happened?
So I, auditioned for a bunch of theater. I did get into MAME, the national tour for MAME. But as a pleasant surprise, I saw on a breakdown that there's this new station that's going to debut called PBS Kids Sprout. It's going to be a 24-hour preschool station. They'll have shows like Sesame Street, Barney, Teletubbies, all those kids shows. And they're looking for a couple of hosts. And for their birthday host, they wanted somebody who had educational experience, and experience with kids and teaching kids and could be able to sing and have musical theater experience. So I was like, certain times when you think, oh, check. I might have a shot at this. So I auditioned and I got in.
And so you were one of the hosts for PBS Sprout.
Yeah.
And your co-host was Chica?
Yes. So I first started off as a host of their birthday show for 2 years. And it's called an interstitial, so it comes in between the regular shows. And what we did was Barney and I think Elmo and JJ the Jet Plane sang a birthday song. And I read birthday cards and introduced different things like how to make cupcakes and that kind of stuff. So.
And then eventually, after those 2 years, you became a regular host?
Yeah, so what they did was after those 2 years, they did away with the birthday show and they incorporated it into this new morning show called the Sunny Side Up Show, which is, again, interstitials, which comes in between all the shows. It's kind of like a checkers and pogo.
Right.
I would call it like a mainland checkers and pogo. So in between the shows, we do games, we sing songs, and we celebrate birthdays too. So, and then my whole co-host was a chicken. Chicken puppet, not a real chicken. Wait, no, she's a real chicken to the kids. So
yes, she's a real keep the illusion alive.
She is a chicken co-host. Yes.
Yes, but she couldn't speak. She could squeak.
She could squeak, and we can understand her squeaking. Right. So that's.
I could understand her squeaking.
Oh, okay, good, great. You can speak Chickenese.
I can.
Man of many talents.
Or Hindi. Because she's a hen.
I get it.
I don't want to be too cocky.
Nah.
But let's see. Okay, so how many years did you do that?
So for total, I was with the company for about 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And that was from New York, or that was from?
So I auditioned in New York. We shot in LA for about a year, so I had to go about once a month to LA. And then we shot it in Philly. Had to go from New York to Philly for about once a year. And then for that Sunny Side Up show, I had to move full time to
Philly.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. So that was fun, you know. Because on the Sunny Side Up show, I hosted with other human people, and then we'd each take turns, and you know,
With other
sometimes
human people
yeah,
as opposed to alien people.
Yes, exactly. Because I have to describe human people because chicken is not a chicken, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So we had Barney, Elmo, the Wiggles came on the show. You know,
Oh,
so
the Wiggles.
there's a lot of
Wiggling.
kids celebrities.
Kids.
Yeah. Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. And that show at that time was filmed in Philly,
Yeah.
and in that year, we got to shoot with Shane Victorino and his
Oh.
daughter. Yeah, and then so we shot with the Philly Fanatic, and we did a whole bit about what is good sportsmanship. And it just so happens that year they won the World Series.
Wow.
So yeah, so.
So you got that under your belt.
Yeah, so Shane, if you are listening, you might want to get me a job hosting in whichever city you're in, because I think that's the good luck.
I think so too. So after your stint with PBS Sprout, with Sunny Side Up, with Chica, and you came back home, or you went back to New York?
So after my stint with Sprout, I went back to New York. And from there, I got into more film and TV.
Okay. So not so much theater.
No. I mean, I auditioned once in a while for theater, but it was primarily commercials.
You were
TV,
getting
and
called
film.
for auditions for commercials and film
Yeah.
and series.
So
So
yeah.
did you have to take a lot of classes up there, or?
I took some classes because I think again, finding a good teacher and someone who you can learn from and grow from is good.
So we have a shot of you.
Oh yeah, that's when I played a new NYPD officer in American Odyssey.
Oh.
That was a mini series on NBC.
Was that
or a series on
like last
NBC.
year?
Yeah, it was this, I think, in February or March, somewhere around
Oh,
there.
15.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that one, Rod Lurie, he directed The Last Castle. He was our director for that episode, and yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
So did you have to? Would you recommend taking classes up there, or how do you find the classes that you need to further your career? Are they everywhere?
They're not everywhere. I took some classes at the SAG Conservatory. I took classes locally when I was here. Scott Rogers, he's a good teacher, coach.
Right.
I use a lot of his techniques for auditioning and getting into the part. And I would play the pharmacist for Aziz Ansari's show Master of None, which came on Netflix last month.
Is that not the first episode?
Yes.
Or-
So I was in the very first episode called Plan B.
You look thrilled.
No, yeah. Because when I first did the first take, I acted like a regular pharmacist, like, hey, blah blah blah. But they're like, no. This is 4 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to be here, and they're bothering you. And I'm like, okay. So that's why I have the face there. So.
That's cool. I saw that and I said, okay, it's another couple coming in for the Plan B.
Yeah.
And he's probably thinking, what are they going to look like tonight?
Yeah.
And so they showed up because
these two
Plan B again.
winners. Welcome to my store. I know what you need. This is what it is. Yeah, and so, and the one unique experience about Master of None is that Aziz Ansari, the main guy in the show, was not only the writer, but he was the star and he was a producer.
Wow.
So whatever he said goes. So sometimes when you get to a set, there's nothing you can change with the script. There's no improv. Don't add anything. Don't take anything take away anything, do it as you're told.
Uh-huh.
But in this one, he liked things to be organic, and he said, "Nah, let's try another take," And then so that was my Aziz. I'm sorry,
I got it.
Yeah, so,
I saw him right in front of me.
but so we did 5, 6, 7 takes where we just let everything fly, and it was probably one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had, just because you don't know what's happening and you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. But it was also one of the most fun experiences that we had. There was one take where he was asking about the chapstick. He's like, "Do you have any more chapstick?" And I'm like, "No, that's all we got." He's like, "I like the one with shea butter." I was like, "Well, they're all pretty much the same chemically." He's like, "No, they're not." I was like, "All right, you know everything. You're the pharmacist." He's like, "You don't have to be a dick." And then we got into a fight after that, and it was like, unfortunately, it didn't make it into the
But
story,
it's somewhere. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere
It's gonna
in
be
the
shown,
digital world
yes.
where hopefully we'll see that take.
Well, we're gonna leave it here for now, and when we come back, we'll talk about your career and what else you did up there on the continent in
All right.
New York. This is Center Stage. I'm Will Kahele, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on ThinkTech Hawaii. Center Stage airs every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and of course you can check out our archives on YouTube or on ThinkTech Hawaii anytime you like. Why should you do that? Because this is an arts show that I believe is making a difference in lives. We talk with artists of various ilk. We talk with painters and writers, playwrights, novelists, poets, sculptors, dancers, you name it, directors, actors, of course. And we don't only talk about what people do, but we talk about how they do it. And my favorite part of the conversation, we talk about why they do it. And it's really common on this show to hear people say, "Wow, I didn't think about it that way." And it's very common to hear people afterwards who have seen the show say the same thing. And I hear all the time that people are inspired by the conversations that we have. So why don't you join us and be inspired too? That's Center Stage on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. We'll see you Center Stage.
Aloha, this is Will Kahele, and we're back at Center Stage, ThinkTech Hawaii, with my guest, Kevin Yamada. Now, when we left our last segment, we were talking about Aziz
Oh yeah, Aziz, I'm sorry.
and your series there, and you guys had a lot of fun. And somewhere there is that outtake.
Yep. There's like six or seven probably different takes of what we did.
So what else did you do? I know you did a couple of other series.
Oh yeah.
There, like Netflix.
So I did a couple of Netflix series there this year that just got released in November. One was Aziz Ansari,
Right.
Master of None,
Master of None.
and the other series was Marvel's Jessica Jones. So for
I think I got up to season 3.
yeah.
So this is,
I got to work with the David Tennant. Some people might know him from Doctor Who. Just an excellent actor. I was kind of intimidated. He's really good. So into his character, and I just had fun just being in that Marvel universe.
Is that the guy?
Huh?
Is that the guy she's talking about, Jessica Jones?
Yeah. So he's the main enemy, and for those of you that might not know, Jessica Jones is one of the more recent Marvel characters. So some people mostly know Spider-Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, but Jessica Jones came out a little bit later, and it's a more recent character, and it's very adult oriented.
It is very adult.
Yeah.
It's very dark.
Yes.
Very dark. I have to be in the right mood to watch it.
Yeah. And she has her own demons. She suffered from mind control from David
that
Tennant's character, and it turned her into alcoholic. And where do you find a superhero where that's that flawed? And she's a great actress as well. So it's a good series if you ever want to check it out.
I'm checking it out right now. I think I'm on 3.
Okay.
Episode 3. And you've done movies.
Yes.
Tell us what movies you've done so far.
Oh, so when I was living in Pennsylvania and working with Sprout, I was fortunate enough to get cast in The Last Airbender. It was based on the cartoon that's on Nickelodeon, and it was directed by M. Night. M. Night
Oh,
Shyamalan,
Shyamalan.
who did The Sixth Sense, you know. So I
Yes,
was like,
yes.
oh. And it was one of my first action scenes, but I don't do any action in like the fight choreographer made us practice all these fight scenes, and the two guys in back of me were martial arts instructors.
Wow.
So I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be my first action thing, and which is another lesson about film and TV, in that whenever you film something, just because you filmed something,
Doesn't mean it's going to make it to the final cut.
yeah. So that,
So it was on the cutting room floor. then.
yeah. So that's why I'm kind of wary to tell people, oh, I'm going to be in this, or I'm going to do this, because I've done that before, and then they're like, where are you? I don't know.
Don't blink. You missed it.
Cut it.
So I had a soliloquy.
Arg.
So you did The Last Airbender.
Yeah. And I did Old Dogs.
Oh, with Robin Williams
Yeah.
and
So
John Travolta. How was that? Was that fun?
That was an amazing experience. You know, it was my first scene of the film, and again, sometimes you don't realize how, you know, special things are, because you're just living in that moment. But
Right.
I realized in the first scene that we shot, it was in this big bar, there was like 3 or 4 floors, and a karaoke stage, not karaoke, a karaoke stage where Seth Green was singing, and at the table was just me, Robin Williams, and John Travolta, and I had a monologue that I'm saying to them that, you know, you're never going to find Seth Green, because there's rumors that there's this guy called the White Wind closing down karaoke bars all over. And I just couldn't eat that whole weekend, knowing that I'm going to play against Robin Williams and John Travolta. Because when I'm doing the scene, in my head, I'm going, you're Mark from Mark, and you're Vinny Barbarino. I was like, I used to watch it, you know, on my TV when I was a kid. And I was like, And it was just a fun time, and there's 200 extras, so much crew members. It was real noisy. Everybody's ordering food, blah, blah, blah. And it was a long day. And it was just my monologue that they were shooting. They didn't have any lines. I mean, they made up lines and they ad-libbed to help me. And by like the 10th or 12th hour, you know, you're kind of burnt. You're spent. Right. Especially this was my first movie. I didn't know what to expect. And when they finally go to my close-up, I started flubbing my lines. and I was like, oh man, what the heck? But everybody knew I knew my lines, because I was doing it the whole day. But it was just, I wasn't used to the long hours. I wasn't used to the fatigue. And I just started bumbling and fumbling my lines. And Robin Williams saw that I was in trouble. And for the 300 plus people that were in there, who were all talking and they making a lot of noise, he just turned around and said, everybody shut up! And then, you know, when they say you can hear a pin drop, you could literally hear a pin drop, because it was complete silence. And then it allowed me to gather my thoughts, gather myself, and go on with the scene. And, okay, I'm ready, and let's go on to the next take. And I was fine after that. But it was just, when you hear stories about Robin's generosity and his kindness, I witnessed firsthand, you know, his kindness, because here's an actor. He never met me before that day. You know, he didn't owe me anything. He could have just looked at me and said, "Well, this newbie, come on, do your lines. You know, suck it up." But he saw another person in trouble, and he did what he could to help out. You know, there's very few people who would have that clout of just turning around and telling 300 plus people to shut up, and they would listen, you know, and just like that.
Right.
It was quiet, and I wish I could have really thanked him, because in hindsight, that was like one of the nicest things somebody did for me, and yeah.
And he did a nice thing again for you.
Oh yeah, for the opening night gift or whatever, he got the script and he bound it, and so it looked like a yearbook, and it said Old Dogs, and on the inside there was a picture of him in one of the scenes, and he had autographed it and put a message, and yeah, it was really nice.
personalized it.
He personalized it. It had my name in gold stencil on the cover, and
Wow.
yeah, I treasure that thing. When I was living in Philly, I think I was on the 19th floor, and we had a fire alarm. The only thing I grabbed
was the book.
was that bound script, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk 19 floors down with something, and that's what I'm gonna
what
say.
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
nice. So, so you got a lot of work in New York.
Yeah,
and
no, yeah.
Philly.
I was fortunate.
And so you're pretty up there then, as far as being called for auditions and being called to do roles in series and
I don't know if
movies.
I call it up there, but I was being seen for quite a bit of stuff, and it was. I think with film and TV, the more you do and the more you can prove yourself, the more they're likely to call you in, and the more they're likely to give you bigger and bigger roles.
Right.
You know?
And we were talking earlier that they're not just casting people ethnically.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I mean, you could be anybody. It's really your talent that's starting to win out. It's like a something new that they're doing. Well, not new,
Yeah.
but
I think
a trend.
Yes. When I told you earlier, when I first moved up to New York, the only roles for film and TV I get called in for were the Asian guy, the guy with the accent, the guy who could speak Japanese or a foreign language. And slowly, the industry is turning to, they're trying to, paint a bigger rainbow over try to get people from different.
More diverse.
More diverse, yeah. So when I left New York and came back to Hawaii, I was being called in more often for a doctor, for a police officer,
Right.
for,
but
an
not
agent.
the Asian doctor. Or the
Yes,
Asian police
exactly.
officer. It was
So for instance, that American Odyssey, for Blue Bloods, for the detective that we saw, it was when I go into the waiting room, I don't go into the waiting room seeing all Asian guys about my age, which was what happened before. And lately, I've been going in and seeing it is a more diverse field. Like, there's white, black, Hispanic, males, females. So I think they're trying to consciously try to spread out the wealth,
Equality.
so to speak. Yeah.
Script
So it's a good
equality.
thing. I
Action
think.
equality.
Yeah.
Wow. So, we only have like a minute left.
Oh.
So what's in the future? What are you gonna be doing?
I have a couple of movies coming out next year, but again, I don't like to tell anybody and tell this out because you never know when you're gonna get cut.
Right.
And and then that's what's happening, and I'm still auditioning and still searching forward. And for the actors who are out there, just find
Keep
good
going,
teachers.
represent.
Right. Yeah. Try really hard, and it's effort and persistence.
Okay, good. So no coaching school. in your future?
Maybe. Hopefully, we'll
Stay
see.
tuned. You never know. Well, this is Will Kahele. This has been Center Stage. My guest, my good friend Kevin Yamada. And tune in next week. Mahalo. Thank you very much.